So hello and welcome. This is Ros Jones, the Bold Business Podcast Show. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Debbie Whitaker, founder of Not Just Numbers. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Ros.
I'm so delighted you've come over here to be in my office and to enjoy the Scarborough sunshine. I'm absolutely thrilled to see you.
Thank you. And it's lovely to be here. And it's just a lovely sunny drive over.
Not Just Numbers. What a great name for an accountancy business. How did that come about? Tell us a story.
So I worked in industry for 20 years. And within the industry, I was in construction for 20 years. And within that, the last role I had, we looked after probably about 6 or 7 smaller businesses within that my bosses helped startups and people to get into business within the construction industry. It got bought out in 2004. I was in a golden handcuff for a year, and hated it. Hated the culture and the toxicity, I think, of what was there. I ended up in a couple of other roles. I did a role for an IT company doing a business turnaround. Loved it, but got them into a position where they didn't need me. And then went into another role, which I hated, and realised that I actually couldn't be told what to do because I'd had such amazing bosses before the buyout. And I think I was a little bit burnt out. So the guys that I'd done a turnaround for, they still needed a little bit of help. And I walked out of a job one day and into another job and set up my own business. And all I wanted to do was just help small businesses. And I think that was a key thing. I'd never been in practice. I didn't know that world. I just knew industry. I knew small businesses. I knew how they ticked and how they operated. So I did that for about 18 months, grew myself a little bank of 30 clients and started to do okay. I was terrified of marketing and sales and all of that sort of thing. But steadily, I started to build the business up a little bit. And then I ended up merging with somebody because I'd got to the point where I was getting bigger, needed to be out of my office. And I ended up merging with a practice for 4 years. Unfortunately, that didn't work out very well at all. And I came out of there quite broken. But I still had a bank of really lovely clients. So I decided to get myself going again, pick myself up. And I was sat one day trying to work out a business name and what am I going to call myself? It has to be different to the last company. And I sat all day and everything I thought about it had gone on Companies House or the domains had gone or whatever. And my husband said to me, "What is it you're trying to say?" And I said, "Well, it's not just about the numbers, is it?"
And out it came.
And I went, "Oh, there we go." And I Googled it and I went through on Companies House and Not Just Numbers was available. And it just felt right for me because I thought, well, what I want to do isn't just about the numbers. It's about helping small businesses around finance. Yeah. But, you know, we're a listening ear, we're a support network, we're a systems and process company. And we just wanted customer service that a lot of people at that time, and we're talking a few years ago, a lot of accountants at that time just weren't giving.
Yeah.
And I wanted to change the way accountancy was done.
Fantastic. The rebel accountant.
The rebel accountant, yes.
Yeah. So if you don't mind me just going back there a bit, when you came out of this, you joined up with somebody and you came out broken. Would you mind, are you okay to just like unpack that a bit, as they say?
Yeah. So it was never supposed to be a long-term thing, I think. And I'd ended up, because I had low self-worth, I'd come out of a position where they weren't very nice to me. I was uncovering things I shouldn't. About the way they were trying to treat my old bosses, all of that sort of thing. So I was quite vulnerable anyway, and my confidence wasn't great, and I was starting to build up, and I was doing some, I thought I needed practice experience. So I went in to help somebody with some practice experience, and they were going to give their practice away. So I said, well, why don't I buy some of it off you? And because I'm growing, didn't understand about serviced offices and all the nice things that we have these days.
Yeah.
So I felt like I had to have these leased offices, and I either went from I felt like I needed to go from back bedroom to proper offices. I felt like I had to properly grow up. So I spent all my life savings doing these offices up and making them really nice and forming a plan to buy a bank of clients and grow. And take more staff on. And it was quite nerve-wracking situation because I'd never been in that place before. And I was naive, I didn't put contracts in place. I didn't agree. It was a gentleman's, gentlewoman's handshake, if you like.
Yeah.
And we were putting these offices together, making them all really nice. And the lady that I was going to take on changed her mind. And I was frightened of her. So, she was a force to be reckoned with. And, well, can we merge? Can we just run for 2 years, see how it goes? And I thought, well, can I, can't I? Well, I'll give it my best shot. So I went in with a cup half full and thought, we can make this work. It's fine. We can do this. And actually we started to grow and we started to do quite well. And I was really sort of driving it, but then I became a threat because I was driving it, because I was hungry for the success. I wanted to learn. I didn't want to just sit and do what I'd always done. I wanted to be better. I wanted to learn. That was a threat. I started to grow my confidence going out networking. That was a threat. And so then I ended up in this bully situation where I was working long hours. It was, oh, you're going already? It's only 10 o'clock. Are you in on Saturday? Are you in on Sunday? Well, I'm going to be here on Sunday. So, and so it became a 7-day a week, 70, 80, 90 hour weeks, just exhausting. And, well, who are you talking to? What about me? And, I couldn't have any friends. I couldn't go anywhere. It was just really awful, actually.
Toxic.
Well,
I guess it's like, sometimes we have to learn that way, don't we? It's like now, I guess you'd know now that you get your values right up front and say, this is what I stand for.
Yeah, I mean, I came out nearly bankrupt because of the way things were going. And she had high debtors. My tiny, I ended up working on her stuff. So it didn't grow my stuff, and my stuff was paying the girls' wages and all of that stuff. And actually, I came out broken. I came out nearly bankrupt. I was in a really, really bad place. I had to have counselling and coaching. And actually, it was an exec coach that I'd worked with that made me see it differently, because I was a very angry person when I came out of there. And I still had my passion for looking after people. That was my main driver, just to be inspired by other companies every day. But I was definitely on a downward trend. And it was all this blame culture. I understand, the above the line, below the line mentality now. I'd never done any work on myself, but I sat back one day and just the right questions from him and just a different approach, and I put things into context. And actually, I was quite cross with myself. And I think, I'd spent all this time being angry at everybody else. And actually, the reality was I was angry with myself because I wasn't strong enough, I wasn't brave enough, I wasn't all of those things. And it could have been very different. And that was my fault because I wouldn't stand up. So it changed, not just Jumbers changed, and my attitude changed. And here we are, 14 years later.
And you forgave yourself?
I forgave myself, yeah. I just, it's a big believer in vision boards. I did myself a vision board through counselling, and I put on there what was important to me, family, it was family and just little things, we don't always want big things, do we? We just want to be safe and happy. And for me, it was just getting back on the housing ladder again. I had to sell my house to get myself out of trouble.
Wow.
We went into rented for a couple of years and then bought again. We saved and saved and saved and managed to buy again. And it was just that journey of just putting things back on track, putting ourselves back on track, because we were quite broken too.
Yeah.
And so it's been a real journey. And in amongst all of that, it's balancing a business and trying to grow it.
Yeah. You were dragged into that environment, I guess, without really knowing. I'm seeing so much burnout generally in terms of this pressure that we put on ourselves, or we have put on ourselves. And I don't know whether you can blame or ascribe it to social media, but there is this thing about whenever I go into a networking group, the first question people say is, are you busy? Like it's some sort of badge of honor to be busy. And I sort of, it's one of those trigger words for me, because I'm trying to encourage my clients and myself not to be busy or urgency addict, but to actually be productive. But I had to make sure that I balance out my life. But I don't know whether you feel the same with your business clients, whether there is this thing about maybe we're getting sucked into this burnout culture, or what do you think? Do you think there is now coming like a backlash and we're fed up with that?
I actually think we're fed up with it. And, you know, when I went through it, I didn't recognise it and I didn't understand it. You know, I've always been quite a stoic sort of a person. You know, I've always been very, very driven. I've had to work very hard all my life. So I just thought, I've just got to work harder. I've just got to work harder. I've got to make this work. And when I came back out again, I felt like I had to be superwoman like this. I need to learn that. I need to do that. And it was just spiraling. And the one thing I did learn was surround yourself by good people. Number one, take away the mood hoovers, you know, surround yourself by positive energy. It is massive. And ask for help. Yeah. You know, that is the second biggest thing. It's just, you know, ask for help. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know, I'm struggling, you know, because we are all burning out and we are, you know, I hate the word busy and I find myself saying it too many times and it's trying to change that mindset because I can hear myself saying it and I cringe because I'm like, oh no, don't say the busy word because people don't want to hear it now. And the other thing I say to my clients is, social media can be quite toxic and you get sucked into this. They're doing that. I must be doing that. I must be better. I must try harder. I'm not doing that. And I've sort of stepped back, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I stepped back off the social media treadmill and said, ride your own ride. Yeah. What did you get into business to do? Yeah. Don't be threatened by other people because there's plenty of work to go around for everybody and people buy people. And they don't want to, you know, it's just do your own thing and do it differently because that's what people buy from you. Yeah. Not trying to be a little sheep. And I got into that mindset as be a leader, not a follower. Yeah. I think there's just too much. I mean, I did a little post yesterday, actually, but it was really about like a little video saying, wakey, wakey, because I think people just fall asleep on their phones. It was like, you know, how long have you been scrolling on there? And I see it too much. And I hear from clients who've got kids, like the battles they have with their kids to get them off the phones. You know, they allocate them so much time and then the kids go, I hate you, you're ruining my life. All my friends have this. And it's just like a big thing, isn't it? Yeah. But, it's just trying to stop the noise, isn't it? And just and enjoy and be more present, I think. You know, it's just stop and look around you. Yes. And I think and we were talking earlier actually, weren't we, about the things that happen actually when you step away. So when you're stuck with a problem, but then you go away and, I don't know, go outside and look at the tulips and suddenly the answer comes to you. Isn't that weird? So because you're breaking the norm and stepping outside. And, you know, if we're stuck with a problem or the team are stuck with a problem, they'll say, can somebody come and have a look at this? Because I've looked at it too long and it just needs a fresh pair of eyes or they'll go for a walk or they'll go make a cup of tea and they'll come back and I'll say, oh, go make a cup of tea, come back, look at it again. And all of a sudden the answer's there. Yeah. Isn't it? That's the thing. I think it's because we allow our unconscious mind just to come up with the answer, don't we? I think that's what happens. But you need to slow down in order to let that happen. Yeah. We're all too silly busy. Yeah. We need to reframe it, don't we? Yeah, definitely. So what's on the horizon for you, and not just numbers and generally? So I've never been one of those that wanted to just grow at the expense of clients. So we've always been a practice that takes less people on but does more for them, and we just want to look after people. And that's the thing. It's just we want to look after people. And it's finding the right people. So we hire on values. We look at somebody and think, are they a good fit for us? Are we a good fit for them? And I see what we do as a relationship. We're not churning accounts. We're not giving you your tax bill at the end of the year and saying, see you next year. It's about building relationships and being invested in those relationships and looking after people. So we just steady away, take our time, take on hopefully the right people. We don't always get it right. Sometimes we have to exit quickly. Yeah. But we've just steadily built a really lovely culture of team and clients within our business. So we're steadily inching extra people on, but we're doing it in a measured and sensible way, because I've seen it with clients where they grow, then have to scale back, and then the customer service falls over or whatever, and we try really, really hard. And like I say, none of us are perfect. We don't always get it right, but we try really hard just to steady away. So just trying to recruit another person to try and free me up a little bit. So my vision for certainly next 3 or 4 years is to slow down, be more present, be nice to get to a 4-day week, which would be woohoo, really, really. That'd be progress.
What you do as a firm of accountants sounds super refreshing, actually. And I'm sure that your customers, present and future, just definitely appreciate that, because I think it's rare amongst accountants personally. So I think sounds great. Sounds marvellous. What about you then? So you want to work 4 days, you want to get down to 4 days a week. What would you do with your extra time?
Ride. Spend time with my horses. Try and get a bit fitter. I've worked incredibly long hours for far too long. I keep breaking myself a lot. The broken bones list is growing. And so my fitness has taken a tumble recently. So it's on my mind to really get much fitter, and so I can actually enjoy a bit of downtime, travel a little bit more, even just long weekends away, just being able to escape.
Yeah, spend more time at the seaside.
Yes, it's a rare sea day. I was quite excited when I saw the sea this morning.
Yeah. Amazing. And so just to wrap up, thank you so much for coming on today, Debbie. But to wrap up, if I'm standing before you, I love to ask this question. I'm standing before you, just about to start up my new business. What's the number one piece of advice you would give to me?
Surround yourself with good people.
Yeah. I love that, actually.
Even if you're a solopreneur, a person running their own business on their own, surround yourself with associates, people you can have a coffee with, just somebody where you're not so lonely.
Yeah. Fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.